Well, don't forget, a proud man would rather quit because COVID got him than quit because he's going gaga. That's a far better face-saving excuse, I have to say. Meanwhile, of course, well, the world can see Donald Trump's getting stronger and stronger. You've had 2 of the 4 legal cases launched by Democrat prosecutors to try to put him in jail. They've now been thrown out or crippled by judges over the past week or two. The Republicans are united behind him. The polls are for him. He's looked invincible after being shot on Saturday. Even the Teamsters Union spoke for him at the Republican convention, which has had many powerful speakers, Sean. And today I was blown away. I thought this was a big moment. The relatives of the 13 American soldiers killed during his disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, like their mother-in-law of a woman, a soldier, a sergeant. Have a look.
She was killed at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan alongside 12 of her brothers and sister-in-arms. While Joe Biden has refused to recognize their sacrifice, Donald Trump spent 6 hours in Bedminster with us. And for the first time since Nicole's death, I felt I wasn't alone in my grief.
And these are families furious that Joe Biden in his debate with Trump claimed that no soldiers died under his watch. So these parents read out the names of all 13 of the ones that died in that Afghan retreat, with the crowd repeating those names. Here's just some of it.
Dylan Marola. Kareem Nakui. Dagan Page. Johanny Pitardo.
That is a very powerful moment, Sean. Where is this election campaign now headed when you've got that kind of momentum there, that kind of emotion?
This was a reminder. Not only did he forget the names of those individuals and that they had died on his watch during the debate, but I think it's a reminder of his policies, of how he treats other people. I mean, it was a multifaceted issue up there on the stage, if you will. It reminded people of the failed withdrawal. It reminded people of how he treats people who have served this country. It reminded people, did he just forget? Was there a mental acuity issue? But this reinforces the narrative about Joe Biden on a multitude of fronts that is not good for the campaign. And this goes back to the first comments I made, Andrew, which is, for the first time, I am actually worried that he is going to voluntarily step aside. And you know, from our conversations every week, I have been resistant to those calls saying that Joe Biden is defiant. He wants a legacy, blah, 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 blah. I think that he is sitting in Rehoboth with the First Lady, and they are trying to figure out what that off-ramp is. How can they hand this over to Kamala Harris in the most undisruptive way that maybe there isn't one, but I think that's what they're trying to figure out right now.
I think that's absolutely right. Although I put first on that list, how can they do it with dignity for Joe Biden? The dignity thing, I think, comes first. Donald Trump has picked as his vice president Senator J.D. Vance, author of the Hillbilly Elegy, about his really tough background. He spoke today at the Republican conference, and I think it didn't get much applause, this line, didn't get much applause, but I think it really summed up where he is focused, where, in fact, I think the whole Republican conference is focused, or the Donald Trump campaign is focused. Have a listen.
Things did not work out well for a lot of kids I grew up with. Every now and then, I will get a call from a relative back home who asks, "Did you know so-and-so?" And I'll remember a face from years ago, and then I'll hear, "They died of an overdose." As always, America's ruling class wrote the checks. Communities like mine paid the price. For decades, that divide between the few with their power and comfort in Washington and the rest of us only widened. From Iraq to Afghanistan, from the financial crisis to the Great Recession, from open borders to stagnating wages, the people who govern this country have failed and failed again.
What do you make of where J.D. Vance is, what is saying about the campaign, and what he brings to the ticket.
You know, he's very reminiscent of the 2016 theme that Donald Trump brought to the table, which is the forgotten men and women. He talked tonight about his story growing up in Appalachia, dirt poor with a broken family, the rags to riches American story that we all love to hear and talk about here in America. And I think it was a reminder to everyone out there in this country that says, I've been forgotten by Washington politicians, by our government. This is a guy who knows how to champion it. He's walked in my shoes. He's lived my experiences. I want to be with him. So you've got Donald Trump on one end of the spectrum, who is the builder, the restaurateur, the casino magnate, the television star, who understands the blue-collar workers that are the backbone of America. But then you've got J.D. Vance, who tonight through the comments is basically saying, I've lived that. I know what it's like to be dirt poor. I know what it's like to, enlist in the Marine Corps, to get the GI Bill, to afford to go to college. He lives that experience. And through very different paths, Andrew, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have ended up at the same place in terms of the policies that they're proposing to advance this country forward.
I think it's a fascinating trajectory there that you describe, Sean. And I don't know. I think it's going to convince a lot of doubters, people in the middle. We shall see. Sean Spicer, thank you so much for your time and your insights.
You bet, Andrew. Thank you.